Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and Anatomy of Failure. I'm Hero Webcomics, and I'd like to welcome you to a project that is not a plainly difficult video. I just want to make a parody of his style of video, all in good fun. I like his style, and what better way to talk about the unmitigated disaster that is Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, than by doing things the same way as the person who talks about disasters all the time. Now that's out of the way, let's begin with the elements of this disaster. Very much like an industrial accident, this disaster involves multiple companies not doing things the way they should. There are three companies involved with the creation of this game: Warner Brothers, Rocksteady, and Sweet Baby Incorporated. Warner Brothers, or WB as they're often called, is the parent company of Rocksteady. And like many other legendary companies, they have been around for ages, but the products they have produced lately have not been as successful as they had hoped they would be. Success in this case means the millions and billions of dollars that they wanted to make. While some of their products have fallen short of that goal, they have at least turned a profit. Still, what happened was what you would expect to happen when a company as profit-focused as WB fell short of their most likely arbitrary goals. They most likely looked for whatever way they could increase profits. Their desperation was palpable. And that's where the second company comes in. The one that is most likely responsible for the disaster of a game that I am talking about: Sweet Baby Incorporated. Now, there will be people who will try to defend this activist-filled sham of a company, but the audience evidence is clear. They say they are a consulting company, but they are actually studio killers. Not these kind. These people have made amazing songs and music videos and have helped popularize the style of music, art, and animation they like to use. They even had a non-conventional protagonist with a non-conventional body type. No need for DEI. Everything Sweet Baby touches has been made worse. It happened with Insomniac Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok, and many others. And it goes further than that. The studio that made a game called Shadow Gambit: The Cursed Crew, a Sweet Baby affiliated game, shut down after making it, much like the studio that made the failed Forspoken game. Though I will admit that was a different activist-filled consulting company's fault, but the point still stands. These people are box office poison, and I am surprised that they are still in business. Why would WB hire them, you may ask? The answer is simple. They most likely were lied to. Snake oil salesmen often do that. They were most likely promised more money and more players on their servers if they paid Sweet Baby the bargain price of $7 million, or perhaps more. I do not know the exact figure, but that is how much they wanted to consult for Black Myth Wukong. For those that don't know, Black Myth Wukong is a game where you play as a 6-foot-tall monkey man who uses his kung fu skills and extending staff to fight creatures based on Chinese mythology. I do not understand how Sweet Baby can help them with that kind of game, and apparently neither did the Wukong developers. Sweet Baby's kind offer was rejected. WB should have done the same thing, because all hiring Sweet Baby has done is hurt WB and the other entity involved in this disaster, Rocksteady Studio. For those that don't know, Rocksteady Studio is responsible for some of the best Batman games in existence. They are deep, dramatic, beat-em-up style games set in large, detailed environments. The stories and characters are well written for the most part, and each Arkham game ends with a mostly satisfying conclusion. And the legacy, it doesn't end there. Many other games have taken cues from the free-flow combat gameplay featured in the Arkham series. Insomniac Spider-Man is one of them, and so is a game called Arkham Origins, a game made by a fellow WB studio. To say that Rocksteady was good is an understatement. Were there issues? Yes, any company will have them, but those issues are nothing compared to the issues they will have because of this tragedy. It was as if WB and Sweet Baby Inc. were squeezing them from both sides. WB wanted an always online live service game from an offline single-player game studio, and Sweet Baby wanted a game that checked every box on their arbitrary list of what they think makes games good, especially if it relates to DEI, an acronym that I believe stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Ironically, companies that try to push DEI often have the opposite effect, which brings us to the disaster. Before I talk about the absolute failure of this game and the fallout of it, I must talk about Yet another scam forced upon the gaming populace. Deluxe editions. Yes, there were 2 editions of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League that were released. One that charged the normal price of $70, and the other that charged the over $100 for bonuses, such as overpriced skins, insulting villain-themed guns, and other weapons that should have been playable characters, and a promise of 3-day early access to the Rocksteady servers. Unfortunately, that early access failed. Many people who made the mistake of buying the deluxe edition could not log in so they could play the game. So much for the live service aspect. They would eventually be able to play. But that brings us to the next part of the disaster that is this game. The story. The plot of this story is simple. Brainiac, a Superman villain, has attacked Metropolis, Superman's home city, with an army of bland soldiers who shoot guns. The 5 members of the Justice League that are in this game discuss what to do about it in an audio log you can find in the game. They know it's a trap, but they go to talk to Brainiac anyway. Even Batman, who would totally not go in any serious Batman story. Instead of course, they all get brainwashed, except for Wonder Woman, which also makes no sense. Wonder Woman is a close-range fighter who likes to be on the front lines. She would be right beside Superman, leading the pack against the enemy army. You know who would not have been brainwashed? Batman, because he would not have gone to the Skull Ship. First of all, he's the only normal human in the group that was in the game. Second of all, he's all about contingency plans. He would probably allow the others to go because there is a chance that they could win. But you would also have a backup plan in case they lost. But in true this obvious fanfiction, comic book and game lore does not matter. So Wonder Woman is able to escape from the Skull Ship with the Flash's help, but neither of them go to the government for assistance. They don't really work with the Suicide Squad either. They both try to save the others by themselves, and they eventually fail. In fact, it feels like all the heroes are jerks, especially the ones that were not brainwashed. In the beginning of the story, Green Lantern and Batman take down the members of the Suicide Squad you get to play as in second. If it wasn't for the Flash, they would have been either dead or brainwashed themselves. Later, a squad of Brainiac soldiers attack the Suicide Squad and are about to win. But then Wonder Woman saves them. Afterwards, she yells at them to stay out of her way and leaves. She will be doing that a lot in this game. Now, let's talk about who you'll be playing as in this game. In true single-player offline fashion, you can only play as 4 characters at launch. Now, in an offline single-player game, 4 characters is not bad. In fact, 4 characters are the most playable characters that have ever been in an Arkham game. Unfortunately, Suicide Squad is not that kind of game. It's a live service game that is obviously trying to compete with other live service games, like Fortnite and Destiny. Unfortunately, the piddling player count does not help with this. And neither does the fact that everyone has the same basic playstyle. No matter who you're picked to play as, all you'll be doing is getting in the air and shooting. Yes, there are unique attacks and unique finish moves, but most of the time it's just shooting. No matter if you're playing as the agile clown girl, the guy who throws boomerangs, the guy who shoots guns, or the Drax-like shark man. Now, take a game like Helldivers 2, for example. You only play as faceless space soldiers who shoot guns, but that's okay. The lack of variety makes sense in that game because all the playable characters come from the same place, the military of Super Earth. In Suicide Squad, all of your playable characters are from different walks of life, yet they all attack the same. It feels lazy, just like the mission structure. Most of the time, your characters are jumping and shooting at enemies all throughout the city for either an escort mission, a thing to destroy, or a thing to protect. There may be a slightly more variety, but there's still not much. And you are doing these missions not just to progress the game, but to level up and collect in-game currency. Yes, like many live service games, they borrow these features from RPGs as well as many others. With every mission complete, you will get a set amount of different currencies. They will help you to buy things in the in-game stores. Things such as the insulting guns and other weapons, armor, and overpriced skins. The currencies also help you buy the chance to do more missions so that you can get different currencies. It's basically padding. Research padding. Rocksteady was forced to research how to make a bad game. Anyway, let's get to the part of the game Defenders say is explained in the title. Killing the Justice League. Edit that out. Justice League. When I first saw the title of this game, I thought it was a joke. because there's no way that the members of the Suicide Squad you play as stand a chance against the members of the Justice League that you're in this game. This is no team of sidekicks. This is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, and Flash. Are there potential members of the Suicide Squad that could stand a chance against him? Yes. Bane has broken Batman's back and is physically stronger than him. Bizarro is as strong as Superman and could be convinced to fight him if properly conditioned. Cheetah is a genetically enhanced Catgirl who can fight Wonder Woman. Reverse Flash has the same powers as Flash. And someone from the Sinestro Corps could use a yellow ring against Green Lantern. But in true bad writing fashion, none of that happens. Instead, we get fanfiction level plot contrivances. After Green Lantern and Batman take down the team you play as, but are thwarted by the Flash. Thwarted by the Flash. Sacrificing himself. You are ordered to capture him because now he has been brainwashed like Batman, Superman, and Green Lantern. Where the other members are, we never know. He is now evil and can kill in a blink of an eye by ripping the hearts out of his victims. He actually does this to a version of Lex Luthor who tries to capture him. He then tries to kill the Suicide Squad in a much less efficient way. Before he can do whatever he was going to do to them, Wonder Woman blasts him back with a superhero landing and ensnares him in her lasso of truth. I don't think she would have been able to do that if the Flash had done his super speed version of Kano's fatality from Mortal Kombat 1 to them, with the original Mortal Kombat to them. Mortal Kombat 1, Anyway, Wonder Woman asks him how she can stop Brainiac from controlling them, and he says they have to die to save the world. This implies that the brainwashed members of the Justice League can't be cured or contained. They have to be killed. This annoys me because later you see that that is not exactly true. The next several hours involve getting the plot convenience to kill the Justice League members that you are currently after. While searching for the brainwashed Flash, you run into Lex Luthor, who set a trap for Flash that our protagonists run into. Flash then appears and captures Lex. The Suicide Squad save him from the shipping container Flash put him in. Flash sees this and tries to attack, but Lex has a failsafe, some sort of Speed Force disruptor. When Flash runs into it, he is blasted back several feet. Later, a version of the villain Toyman joins the team, and he found the wreckage of the anti-Speed Force device and fixed it. Amanda Waller, the leader of the organization that is forcing the Suicide Squad to do missions for them, orders Toyman to make 4 more of those devices. And then you use them to knock back Flash and slow him down enough to kill him with bullets in the Flash boss fight. Somehow, the Suicide Squad then get Yellow Lantern replicas and use the energy from them to kill Green Lantern with bullets as well. Later, Wonder Woman uses green kryptonite to try and kill Superman. It doesn't work, even after she stabs him in the chest with it. The creature that is masquerading as Superman then kills Wonder Woman with his laser vision and flies away. Later, a different version of Lex Luthor is found on a parallel Earth, and he helps the squad develop gold kryptonite, which, unsurprisingly, does not do what it does in the comics. It only makes Superman weak enough to kill with bullets. Are you noticing a theme here? Then, there's the deepest cut of all, Arkham Batman. Yes, they make it very clear that the Batman you hear directing Brainiac's army and later have to kill is the same Batman that you play as in the Arkham series. They have even made a museum exhibit called the Batman Experience, where events from the Arkham series were recapped with silly voices. The final battle with Batman begins after Gizmo, yet another character that should be playable in this game but isn't, uses his tech to make a dollar store version of the Batmobile that somehow fools some of the best technology in the world so that the Suicide Squad can get into the Batcave. They then see a Robin mask with blood on it and assume Batman killed Robin, even though we never find a body. Then they see a Batman hologram and use it to get information about how to beat the Justice League members in the game. The Batman hologram thinks that it's talking to a member of the Bat family, so it goes on and on about how teamwork and family are important. It's meant to be a tender moment for the Suicide Squad, but at this point I have little sympathy for them after all the plot issues and disrespect for our beloved heroes. After that moment, Scarecrow's fear toxin begins to fill the room. This is the beginning of the final boss fight with Batman. Unlike most of the game, your characters cannot jump and shoot in the same way they can outside. You are basically lumbering around and shooting at explosive gel and creepy Batman statues to progress. To progress, you have to activate the extra toxin sprayers that just happen to have the exact formula Harley Quinn wants to use to counteract the fear toxin Batman is using on them. All 4 of your team members must activate a set of toxin sprayers while going through a gauntlet of different hazards, including Batman himself. He will appear every now and then as a fire monster and try to attack you. Thankfully, all you have to do is shoot at him, and he will fall back and try again. After all 4 of your team members gas themselves with Harley's fear toxin, they see Batman transform into a giant fiery bat torso, and then a fake game over screen appears and is X'd out by Harley, while she explains that she learned how to make a new version of the fear toxin from Scarecrow when they were locked up together in Arkham. She then tells the rest of the team to shoot at the giant Batman. This is the end of the boss fight. The giant Batman torso swings its arms at your characters, and shoots eye lasers. All you have to do is shoot him with your guns until he dies. But this makes no sense. Batman cannot change his size. He's a normal human with a brilliant mind and ninja skills. Now, Green Lantern can create a story's high construct of himself as armor with his power ring, and you have to shoot at it to defeat him. That does not work with Batman. But you're supposed to do it anyway. You shoot at him, shoot him in his giant face until he screams, "No!" Then you see Batman lying on the ground, riddled with more bullets than Murphy from the original RoboCop movie, and Harley embarrasses him by draping him over her shoulder and carrying him around like he did to her after defeating her in the Arkham series. They then take him to Lex's place so he can restrain and experiment on him to make the gold kryptonite that will weaken fake Superman so they can kill him. This scene shows that they could have restrained the other members of the Justice League without killing them. This writing is garbage. Anyway, after Lex finishes his experiments, he tells the squad to take Batman to a park with a Superman statue and use him to draw out Superman by killing him, which is unnecessary. Him. Earlier in the game, after Green Lantern was killed, his force field around the Skull ship was destroyed. Amanda Waller took that opportunity to launch a nuclear missile at it with the Suicide Squad only a few blocks away. Before it could hit the ship, Superman stopped it. He then threw it several miles away instead of at the Suicide Squad, and then went to fight Wonder Woman. It makes sense that he would defend the Skull ship if it was attacked again, but as I said before, the writing is garbage. Anyway, they take Batman to the park, sit him on a park bench, lecture him on causing emotional damage to everyone he knows, and then shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. They kill Arkham Batman. Again, they make it sure you know it's Arkham Batman. Harley says, "You had a great run, flying around the city, punching bad guys, causing emotional damage to everyone you knew," says the person who caused emotional damage to many people she knew by helping Joker torture and kill them. After Batman's death, fake Superman appears and is weakened by the gold kryptonite. He then flies around and attacks the squad with badly aimed cold breath and eye lasers that would totally hit them, kill them if they hit. Eventually, fake Superman is hit with enough bullets that he starts flailing around in the air, shooting his eye lasers at everything except the Suicide Squad, and then falls on the ground and dies. The Suicide Squad mock him, like they mocked all the other male members of the Justice League in this game. And then they high-five in celebration. But then something happens, something that makes me think that the game was all an illusion. Please let this game be an illusion. They high-five, and then they find they cannot move. One second. Mock. Yeah, there you go. I cannot move. They are frozen in midair, in mid-high five, and then Brainiac appears and casually walks around them, going on and on about what his plans are, and asking how they were able to beat his Justice League. He then teleports them to his ship, and as his brain slugs crawl all over them, promising that he will make them better than ever once they are turned into soldiers for his army. Miraculously, before the slugs can take effect, the squad is teleported to the LexCorp building. Eventually, the squad is able to go back to Brainiac's ship again and fight him, after collecting enough of the currency from the missions that offer it, of course. Then, after a short monologue, Brainiac turns into the Flash. His first boss fight was basically the Flash boss fight again. After that, the squad brings Brainiac's body back to Lex, who uses it to access the Brainiac hive mind. He then tells them that to truly defeat Brainiac, you have to kill all 13 of them. Yes, there are 13 Brainiacs, and they all have armies that you're supposed to fight your way through to get to them. And at the time of this writing, all the Brainiac boss fights we've seen are just lazy rehashes of Justice League boss fights. Also, those boss fights are locked behind season DLC. You have to wait for them to be available for download. Until they all you could do is the same missions in the launch games. In the launch game that you were doing before. Game, not games, game that you're doing before. You could also collect more currency, skins, and assaulting guns. Then the Season 1 DLC came out, and other than getting the most likely gay version of the Joker, often called the Jonkler, and more insulting guns and skins, there was not much there. Season 1, Episode 2 was more of the same. The story has not progressed much at all. There are now 5 people you can play as instead of 4, and more guns and skins. But the Justice League are still dead. There were clues that they may come back, but they are hard to find, and judging by the player count on the Steam, no one really cares. The future of this game is not very bright, which brings me to the aftermath. There are 4 different scores for this one, as there are 4 different entities involved. Number 1 is the players. For us, it is a 5 on the disaster scale. Crappy live service games like this fail all the time. It is sad that a game with such potential is failing, but there are plenty more that will come out soon. For the companies that made the game, the score is a 7. The fallout of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has damaged WB's reputation. Rocksteady fared even worse. Squeezed from both sides. The founders of Rocksteady, I'll say sides. Say sides. Sides. They're better. It ends. So they squeezed from both sides. The founders of Rocksteady and those who are loyal to them left to form their own studio. It's called 100 Star Games, and I am very interested to see what games they will make. One good thing about this disaster is that now, hopefully, even more games will have Arkham-style free-flow combat in them. You may not recognize the names of the games, but we recognize the names of the games, but we will recognize the gameplay. Sadly, all that's left in Rocksteady is interns, corporals, and Sweet Baby employees. And those titles may not be mutually exclusive. They could still make good games, especially if they fire all the Sweet Baby loyalists, but their reputation is damaged beyond repair. They are not the same company as they used to be, thanks to the final party involved in Sweet Baby Incorporated. For them, the disaster is a 10, the highest possible. The reason why is simple. Thanks to this game, everyone knows how bad a game made by Sweet Baby can be. This is before Flintlock came out. That is one of the only good things about it. And their failure continues. Journalists and critics who are friends of theirs are being exposed. Members of their staff are turning on them and their practices, and even shareholders are asking the companies they are investing in if they are working with Sweet Baby and other companies like them. Companies, I'll say. With that in there, that'd be nice. Yeah, like them. My advice to Sweet Baby, Black Girl Gamers, and others like them is to close up shop, take what money you have, and find a good safe house to hide in until the heat dies down. If you do not do this, you will be sued for fraud. Don't act like you didn't promise WB they would have more players and more money if they hired you. And that concludes my plenty difficult style review of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It is sad to see a studio, and a company fail so hard. But hopefully they will learn important lessons from this and never make games like this again. I'm your webcomics. Check me out on YouTube and DeviantArt. Also, I may have been wrong about how much Sweet Baby wanted to consult for Black Myth Wukong. I said $7 million when it could have been 7 million yen. But the amount does not matter. Extortion is extortion. And did you notice that Sweet Baby Incorporated uses fear to get their way? The CEO of Sweet Baby once basically said, "Have coffee with your marketing department," and to terrify them with what could happen if you're not hired to consult. They also told the developers of Black Myth Wukong that they would keep things quiet about the mistranslated tweets that members of their staff allegedly posted about being so tired from work that they had trouble getting enough blood flow to certain parts of their bodies, if you know what I mean. For a price, of course. These people are Sith. They are using the dark side to fight, and that's the only defense. to fight. And the only defense is to use the light of truth. Tell people all the lies you want about us, fools. The truth will come out eventually. And speaking of the battle between dark and light, and truth and lies, I have to add a new section to the final draft of this review script. At the time of this writing, a journalist that is a known Sweet Baby defender has published a scandalous article exposing the real reason why Suicide Squad killed the Justice League was and continues to be so bad. Sefton Hill and other members of the old Rocksteady studio were responsible, not Sweet Baby. The people who were making games just fine for years before Sweet Baby came along. This cutting-edged journalist says, by their inaction and apathy, Suicide Squad was made just like all the other Sweet Baby games. That is like those government food. That is just like wait. Action apathy. Suicide Squad was made just like all other Sweet Baby games. Yeah, that's true. That's how it goes. This is like those government fools who said that Trump winning the election was caused by the Russians hacking the system. If that was the case, then we would have had to do a do-over. We would have had a do-over that was harder to hack, but it wasn't. It was their fault. It was the same thing here. If the people that left Rocksteady were the ones that caused Suicide Squad to be the way it is, then why not change it now that they're gone? Why not abandon the roadmap they laid out for the game? Because it wasn't them. Sefton and friends would never let Batman go out like that. Even if he wanted to imitate Marvel's Infinity War part of the story was true, he would have been more respectful. Batman would have never gone to the Skull Ship, never got brainwashed, and if he was supposed to die, he would have taken Wonder Woman's place. He would, totally save the Suicide Squad and fight fake Superman in his Frank Miller armor. Then he could be killed or look like he got killed, just like in the Dark Knight Returns comic where the armor came from. Then when he comes back, it will be an epic moment, not an awkward one like it's going to be in the actual game when they bring him back. Yes, they're going to bring Batman back. They brought back Flash in the Mrs. Freeze season DLC. I like to jokingly comment that people are more excited about him coming back than her being added to the team, even though we actually aren't. I'm sure that over the next few DLCs, more Justice League members who were killed will come back, so that Sweet Baby can have his cake and eat it too. People are angry. The people are angry. You were hating on a beloved character? Well, it was a crappy clone of the beloved character, not the real one, so it's okay, right? Wrong. The clone theory was a coping mechanism people started talking about since the Kill Justice League launched. I made fun of it by calling Brainiac stupid, just like the silly Asian host in that Weird Al Wheel of Fish parody. But it turns out it is really what's happening. So doubling down. Brainiac, you are so stupid. You made fake Batman armor, fake Superman clothes, fake Flash armor, and a fake Green Lantern ring, and these weak, dumb fools are the result? You are so stupid. I look forward to when they take out the last of your hive mind, and the game can finally rest in peace. Hopefully setting up for Arkham Justice League, a game where you can play as the Justice League, made by Rocksteady like we wanted. As for the scandalous article, all I have said before, and the fact that that Sweet Baby temporarily removed Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League from the list of games that they consulted on their website shows that it was their fault. The game is so bad. Why would you try to hide your involvement if it wasn't your fault? The blame game is a common thing the company at fault does when there is a disaster. This game is one of your diapers, Sweet Baby. You may deny it, but it's clearly filled with the same crap as your other games. It has the same stink. I hope it and all the others like it are taken to the landfill soon. See you next time. Screw woke DEI bullcrap. The anatomy of this failure is simple. WB is the blindfolded person. Sweet Baby is the bad guide, and Rocksteady is what was crushed in the bear trap that is DEI for that nasty ESG score. Gotta write nasty better. Nasty. There you go. ESG score.